Good day, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Kathy here from Notable Pixels, where I make digital genealogy workbooks, journals, and a few printables designed to help you organize your family history in an easy to always carry with you way. I finally realized after one too many research trips where I thought I had carefully planned everything, but discovered once I got there that the one binder, the most important binder that I needed, was left at home. So I finally decided that for my next trip, I would bring my entire tree with me and all of my notes on my iPad, which leads us to today's video, how to use my Notable Timeline workbook. I'm going to show you how to use the workbook using the app called GoodNotes. And I am in GoodNotes right now. Now, for people who are also new to GoodNotes, you may not understand GoodNotes itself is very user-friendly, but you may not know how to get your hyperlinks to work. And you think, oh dear, something's wrong with this notebook. Let me show you really quick before we continue on where some of the hyperlinks are invisible. So I will point them out to where they are for you, but you need to know how to turn your hyperlinks on. Right now we are in read mode, and there are two modes. There's read mode and edit mode. I know we're not in edit mode because we don't see any of the ink pens and the tools up at the top. If you look over to the right, those three horizontal blue dots, immediately to the left of those dots is what looks like the Apple Pencil, I guess, with a circle around it. That is like a toggle switch between read mode, which we are in now, and I tap on it, and now I am in edit mode. And like I said, you know you're in edit mode because of all the tools up here at the top. And these are pretty self-explanatory on how to use these different tools. If you have any questions with them, though, please contact me through my Etsy shop, and I'll be happy to explain them to you. But we are going to go back into read mode. We're going to leave edit mode, and we're going to go back into read mode so that our hyperlinks will work. So I'm going to tap on that little pen, and now I am back in read mode, and my hyperlinks will work. Now, starting with the cover, in the upper left corner, there is an invisible hyperlink that when you tap on it, it takes you to the timeline contents page. Now, your page is blank, unless you have already started filling it out. But I have filled out mine. I started with the year 1926 up to the current year. I started in 1926 because this particular timeline I want to use to follow my father's life, and he was born in 1926. Now, you don't have to start at the year of someone's birth, but that's just what I'm doing for this one. But it does make it easy when you start with the same year that someone was born, because as you can see, when someone was born in 1926, my dad was 0 years old. He was just born. He didn't turn 1 until 1927. He turned 2 in 1928, and so on. So instead of always having to stop and get a scrap piece of paper and do a math problem when something happened in 1965 and you're wondering, geez, well, how old was my dad in 1965? I can easily see, he was 39 years old. Now, you can also see at the bottom of this contents page are 12 links to extra pages and 2 links to additional sections. And we will discuss those in just a bit. First, I'm going to start with the year 1926, and I'm going to tap on that square where I have written 1926, and that takes me to the individual year page for 1926, where I have written in August. B is my abbreviation for birth, on the 21st of James Ray Lee, which is my dad. Now, at the bottom of all of these individual year pages is a little gray tree, and when you click on that, tap on that, it takes you to the yearly highlights section. And you can see I've filled in the years here. There's 10 per page. And so starting from the individual year page for 1926 or the year 00, clicking on that gray tree at the bottom takes me to this page where I can write in a more shortened way the events. The individual year pages, I can go into more detail. I can add any of the 12 extra pages to that section for the individual year, and I can fill in stories, I can fill in notes, I can add pictures, I can add a pedigree chart. There's lots of different options you have in the extra pages that you can add after an individual year. This highlight section is just to make it in a more outlined way. You can use it or not use it. Some people prefer this way. This way might remind them more of your elementary school timeline where you just literally had that one line going across the chalkboard with dots and little notes written there. So this might be more comfortable for you. And the individual year sections are for if you need to add more details. I prefer to add as much details as I can. Excuse me. Now, to get back to the individual year, I can hit that upper left corner and go back to the timeline contents page, or I can hit in the square where I wrote 1926, and that will take me back to this page. Now, I'm going to go back to the timeline contents page. I'm going to start with the who, what, when, where, why, how down here in the extra pages. I'm going to start with that page. And the whole concept of who, what, when, where, why, how I have used many times, and I love it, especially for genealogy. It really helps me break down what I already know and what I am still trying to find out in a more clear way. So I highly encourage you to use this. And like I said, you can copy and paste anything in the extra pages section. You can copy them and paste them after any of the individual years. And let's briefly go through them. Here's the who, what, when, where, why, how again. And this one is for any of your thoughts or questions or discoveries that you make along the way that you don't want to forget. There's just a general notes page where obviously you can write whatever you want. A page for your stories, a page for your sources. This is a checklist page, which can also be a to-do list. It can be a contents list. If you want to put this first behind a individual year page so that you can write the contents if this particular year had a lot of events happening, maybe you want to highlight them on a contents page. This is what I call like a photo story page. You can put photos up at the top and your explanation of the photos there at the bottom. This is a blank page, which you can use obviously for whatever you want. You can copy and paste pictures, maps, articles, census records, any documents you have that you want to draw more attention to. You can copy here to, or you can draw a map of the cemetery of how to get from the front of the cemetery to where your great-granddad is buried. Whatever you want to do, this is a blank page. Here, along the way, I have learned many things that I thought I knew that I discovered it's not what I thought. So this is my page where you can write down notable lessons that you have learned along the way. This page here is a blank page of notable cast and characters and events. There's also a section for the characters in your timeline. And I have started you off in this section. I started you off with 5 pages. If you need more pages, then you would come here to copy this page and add it to that section. And then if you needed more or an additional page for the yearly highlights section, you would get it here. And then here is a pedigree chart if you want to use a pedigree chart. Now I'm going to go back, hit the upper invisible link in the left corner. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go down to the right, the index of notable characters and events. I'm going to swipe over to the right here. And like I said, I started off with 5 pages. They're numbered at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you are adding a 6th page, you can check this little box in the right-hand corner so that you know, oh, keep going, there's more people. And I'm going to go back. Now here, I'm going to click in the bottom right corner, the yearly highlights. That is the section right here. And like I said before, I think I might have said it, there's 10 pages of this, or 10 entries per page. And I've already filled in the years. I haven't filled in the information for them yet. And like I said, to get back, I can either click on the box that I've written 1926 if I wanted to get back to that page. If I wanted to get back to, let's say 1940, I'm going to click in the box for 1940, and it takes me back to the 1940 page. Now let me really quick show you how to add pages. We have 12 extra pages. How do you add them? If you're new to GoodNotes, you may not understand how. So I'm going to, I want to add that pictures and notes page. I want to add it after the page 1926. After here, in between 1926 and 1927, in between these 2 pages, I want to add a page to add pictures and my notes for the pictures. I'm going to tap on that. So now I tapped on the pictures and notes link, and it has taken me to this page. This is the page that I'm going to copy. Always save the extra pages right where they are, and your hyperlinks will be fine. So to copy this, I am going to, if you look in the upper left corner where those 4 squares are, that is called the thumbnail viewer. I'm tapping there, and it will open up on the page that I opened up from, which is the photo story page that I want to copy. Go to the upper right corner where it says select, tap on the select, and now check in that gray little circle on page 131, which is the photo story page. Now up in the upper left corner, see the word copy, tap that. Upper right corner, select done. Now I'm going to scroll back up here to the top. Now page 126 was the individual year page for 1926 was page 5, and 1927 was page 6. And so I want this copied page to go in between the two. So I'm going to select the drop down arrow for page number 5. Now I'm going to select the second option, add page after. Now I'm going to select paste page, and it added the page for me. And so now when I hit in the upper left corner the word close, it is going to open up to this page right here that is highlighted. I'm going to hit close. Whoops. Hit close. And now this page is in between 1926 and 1927. So here I can add pictures. Let's show you how to do that. I'm going to have to go back into edit mode, so I'm going to turn read mode off. I'm going to tap on the pencil. Now I've got my tools back. I am going to select this little picture here. If you, it's sort of like right in the middle underneath the word timeline. You'll see it, what looks like a scene of a mountain. That takes you to your picture roll. And if you can see them, it's kind of small. You kind of have to know where you're going. And I'm just going to pick a couple pictures of my father. He is 96. We are going to select, how's that one? Okay, that one. And you can see the balloons in the background. He recently had a birthday. And I'm going to select this one. He is deaf, not because he's old. He was born that way, and he uses sign language to communicate. And we FaceTime every day. And this is him signing I love you. The I love you sign is the second image. He always does that before we sign off. Now, if I wanted to write a story or write something about our FaceTime talks, I always use in the upper left corner next to the pen tool, to the left of the pen tool, you will see a little box with an A around it. That is the zoom text tool. I always use that, and which is probably my main reason of why I like GoodNotes, is because the other apps, while they're fine apps and they have other things that GoodNotes don't, they don't have this zoom text tool, and I really depend on it. I think my writing is much better. It's more consistent. Yes, I could pinch and zoom with my fingers, but you don't always pinch and zoom the same amount, so your writing isn't consistent. This just works for me. So here I can write our daily FaceTime talks. And then I could continue writing a story about all the different things we talk about on FaceTime. Now, as far as the links go, you don't want to break your links, and you would only break your links if you delete one of my pages. If you have this page here, I copied it. It wasn't originally in the workbook when it was purchased. So I can safely delete this page without breaking any of my hyperlinks. I'm going to to show you how to delete the page, I'm going to hit the thumbnail viewer, those 4 little squares in the upper left corner. And like I said, whenever you go there, whatever page you started from is what's going to be highlighted. So you see in blue the page that we had just made and copied there. I'm going to hit the word select in the upper right corner. I'm going to select that page, page number 6. And then I'm going to hit the red trash can. And then I'm going to hit done. Close. And now I'm back. See, they're back again. It's gone. 1926, 1927. That page we just made is gone. So that is how you add a page or copy a page, and that is also how you can take it away. Now let's really quick, we're almost done here. Oh, I got to get back into read mode. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's scroll back. Well, this page here, if you ever kind of get stuck, explains the directions. And this page here, you found the instructional video. I want to show you the bubble up link here in the middle of the page, which I never intend to break. As far as I'm concerned, this will always stay there, so you don't have to worry about that. I have no plans of removing this link. And now you can hit yes. But I can't guarantee you that any of the websites that I collected are going to maintain their websites. So if one of these sites decides to no longer continue, one of these, then that site would no longer be on the list. Now, I don't have some affinity for crime. It's just that this is all arranged alphabetically, and so this is what started. But here is a timeline from PBS.org of 100 years of crime that has happened in the United States from 1896 to 1996. So if your timeline covers any of those years, and you want to understand better what your ancestor might have lived through, this might be a good resource for you. And then there's timelines about slavery, childbirth. Things have changed quite a bit in the last 500 years of childbirth. Things like the post office. I tried to include things that we don't normally think of as a timeline, but most likely had a great impact on our ancestors' lives. The history of education, of different wars. And like I said, since this was in alphabetical order, here's another one on childbirth, a slightly different one. More on crimes. There's things on inventions. There's, I don't know, 40 or 50 of these timelines. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can click on that link and it will take you to my shop. Now I'm just going to hit this and go back. I'm going to go back to the workbook. So this is the timeline workbook, and I hope you use it and get a better understanding of your ancestors and what they actually experienced in their lifetimes. And if you have any questions, any more thoughts, you can always contact me through my Etsy store link. And I hope to hear from you soon. I really do. I really enjoy when customers ask me questions or just give me their thoughts. And this is your time, so make it notable. Till next time, bye.